I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excuse me. Lord, it is an honor and a privilege to represent the citizens of this county. Please guide us to use our collective wisdom to make decisions that are done in your name and with your grace. And please watch over all of those who protect our freedom and keep us safe. In your name, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
On the table already.
No. Let's see, I think, are we all ready? Hey, let's, some leaving, some, look at all these guys. Let's go ahead with roll call, Julie.
Sherry Martel,
I think I'm here.
Jeff Carlisle,
Here.
Ryan Curry,
Here.
Freddie De La Trinidad,
Here.
Sherry Easty,
Here.
Carl Johnson, Ray Larson,
Here.
Rod Riley is not present,
He's online.
I'm online.
Bill Robertson,
Here.
Steve Schabacher,
Here.
Jonathan Van Mar,
Here.
Dave Wiltsey.
Here.
Okay, what we need to do, I think you all got the email from Julie. We need to vote on Rodney Riley's request for permission to attend this meeting remotely. I'm looking for a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Dave Wiltsey, seconded by Jeff Carlisle. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I'm now looking for an approval of the agenda. We have no changes to it, do we, Kevin?
None this evening.
Okay.
Make that motion.
Motion made by Jeff Carlisle,
Second.
seconded by Steve Schabacher. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're up to the minutes. We need an approval of the August 19th, 2021 County Board minutes. Need a motion?
Motion made.
I'm sorry. Bill Robertson made the motion, seconded by Jeff Carlisle.
That's fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Public comment. Do we have any, did any emails come in?
None this evening.
Don't see any out there. You have one, Ryan?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, let's move on to a public comment about Boone County Stormwater Management and MS4 permit. Kevin, do you take that or is that someone else?
So we'll just entertain public comment for that topic.
Okay.
If there's none, we can move on.
Public comment? I'm sure you all know about this, right? Boone County Stormwater Management MS4 permit. Just so you know, it was 130 pages long. Everybody raise your hand that read all 130 pages. No public comment? All right, thank you very much. Appointments and recognition, item 6. We can do both of these at the same time, can't we?
That'd be nice.
I'd like a motion to approve appointments as presented. Julie Bliss to the Ethics Commission and Amy Olson to the Board of Health.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Jeff Carlisle,
Second.
second by Dave Wiltsey. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Oops, I'm sorry.
Ask for any discussion.
I forgot. I'm on a, you know. Is there any discussion on these two appointments? Thank you. Okay, let's try that again. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Let's see, where are we at? National Rail Safety Week proclamation.
Appointment. Yeah.
When did that come out?
We did both.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're at the same,
All right.
yeah. There's two at the same time.
Yes.
I did both of them.
Yep. We're all good. Yep.
Are we okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. Item 6.2 is a National Rail Safety Week proclamation. It was on board docs, and I think it's going to be up here in just a second. I would entertain any questions or comments about it. I'm not going to read it to you. I think we all read it. Any questions or comments? I don't think there's any action on this. It's just to make sure that it is, people are made aware of it.
They did for Constitution.
Yeah, they should probably just do a roll call vote. Yeah.
Want to do a roll call vote on this? Right, and I do have a comment. I took the train downtown Chicago for more decades than many of you have been alive. And I think back very sadly on how many times I was on a train that hit someone, either a pedestrian or in a car. And so this kind of struck home with me. Anyhow, roll call vote, please.
Sherry Bartell,
Yes.
Jeff Carlisle,
Yes.
Ryan Curry,
Yes.
Freddie De La Trinidad,
Yes.
Sherry Geesley,
Yes.
Ray Larson,
Aye.
Bonnie Riley,
yes,
Bill Robertson,
Yes.
Steve Schabacher,
Yes.
Jonathan Van Mar,
Yes.
Dave Wiltsey.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Madam Chairman, before we move on, since we will not meet again before this starts, which is actually next week, September 20th to 26th, I just wanted to say this may be the only time that people hear this in real time to know that that is September 20th to 26th.
Okay, nicely said.
Sorry if I.
No, absolutely not. That's fine. All right, 6.3, deputy recognition. Sheriff Dave Ernest, please.
Good evening, everyone. We don't have extra troops in here. It has nothing to do with the redistricting. Okay, they're here. The sheriff's office takes DUI very, very serious. We were the only county in the state of Illinois that mandated blood draws, so there's no more refusals. And other counties are starting to get on that, but that's thanks to not only the sheriff's office, but the state attorney's office and our judges. We're very special here in Boone County that you get stopped here and you refuse, you're going to go to jail one way or another. So we either take your blood and get evidence. Otherwise, we have other charges. So it's worked out very good. It's really helped the court system. We get a lot more convictions. We cut out a lot of the loopholes with all these attorneys. And it's really worked out very, very well. And it's made Boone County a much safer place. I talk here every month about how bad these accidents have been that we've gotten this year. I can't tell you, if it wasn't for the members of the sheriff's office, I believe that we would have had a lot more fatalities just with these arrests that they have made over the last year. So I wanted to recognize, we have several officers. It's a priority. Obviously, our night shift has a lot more opportunities to do that. So we actually were notified by, make sure I get it right, because there's a couple groups out there. From the Alliance Against Intoxicated Motorists organization, which is really a national organization. And what they do is they actually recognize officers on departments, which I will read here when I call these three officers up. So the officers this year that were recognized by this organization and now by the sheriff's office and now by the county would be Deputy Laga, if you guys could come up, Deputy Schutz, and Deputy Gosnell. And I won't embarrass them. Okay, I might, but step right up here. These are three studs of the sheriff's office, right? So we spread out a little bit. Actually, all three of these officers were hired by the sheriff's office in 2016 to go on the road. And I'm very proud to say that these two gentlemen here came from our corrections facility, which since I've been here, I've kind of preached that if you do your time in jail, we're gonna let you come out if you want to. And it's really been very, very successful. Chuck here was in corrections for 13 years. And for him to come out and be recognized, the older you get, I don't want to pick on Chuck, but the older you get, we get younger guys that are in their prime. These guys have been in their prime, Chuck has for a while. The other two young bucks, he came from I won't say anything about boiling, I promise you. Crack a slipper there, but he came from corrections, and Mike actually was with our sheriff's reserves. So again, bringing it into the organizations to come out on the road in 2016. All three of these guys have been very, very successful on the road. We got a couple more officers here, which is fantastic. Some came on their own time to recognize these officers that are on their shift. Sergeant Smith is here, Sergeant Smythe is here, and the gentleman back there in the white pants or the kind of sitting down low, he was just a couple short from being recognized. So, he's going to do better next year. And I wanted to point that out, but I love that he's here. These are fantastic officers, and honestly, I'm so proud because this is something that I do believe makes Boone County a much safer place. I will tell you that what I'll do is I'll read this. Just for the sake of time, I'll combine all of them together. In July of 2021, Mike was recognized. In 2019 and 2021, Deputy Schutz was recognized. Because of COVID and because of all the crazy stuff that's happened, we weren't able to get them up here last year. And Deputy Laga is phenomenal when it comes. I mean, these guys are all fantastic. He takes it to a new level. He was recognized in 2021. On Sunday, he's recognized by MAD. Everybody's heard of MAD. He had to go down to Springfield, which is clearly one of the top in the state, which is really, really cool for a county our size to be able to be recognized that way. But I can't say enough about these guys and their partners. Sometimes they give them gifts to get their numbers up a little bit. So sometimes they take a hit for the team. But people are going to jail, and we're making it awareness. Do not drink and drive. I mean, I can't believe this is 2021 and we're still talking about it. But it's incredible the amount of people that are out there. So this really makes a huge impact, I believe, on the county to make our roads safer 24/7. So it says in July of 19, 20, or 21, Deputy Mike Gosnell, Deputy Shane Laga, and Deputy Chuck Schutz were selected by the Alliance Against Intoxicated Motorists organization, AIM, as one of the state of Illinois' top DUI enforcers. Each year, the AIM organization selects officers from over 700 Illinois police agencies to be recognized for their DUI enforcement and their life-saving efforts. These deputies are commended for their initiative, proficiency, and exceptional attention to duty. Their actions have brought credit upon themselves and the entire department. On this date, all three are awarded the Meritorious Service Award. All three of them wanted to say something, but because I know everybody's in a hurry, we're not going to allow them to talk tonight. Thank you for allowing us to spend this time.
Thank you, and I just have to say, Officer Schutz, that 13 years in corrections, and you still had that youthful look. Could be an ad for you, Dave.
Actually, his wife and child is here, so.
Oh, okay.
You guys like to take pictures of it?
Oh. Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, how nice. Let's see, we're up to reports from community agencies, Council on Aging. Who's doing that one? Steve, go ahead.
I talked to Kelly the other day, and she's going to be sending out, she told me, an email to all the county board members regarding something we're looking at. It's called forward-looking strategy for the Boone County Council on Aging. She said there might be about 5 questions on there. She said she'd like to send that to each board member email and see what the response is. So that's about it. Everything else, thank you.
Questions for Steve?
Oh,
Thank you, Steve. Growth dimensions? Pam? And Pam, you're limping. I don't even want to know what crazy stuff you were doing now.
You know, it's just part of getting old.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. Well, I'm here, and if everyone doesn't know, my chair and vice chair are here to join me. They wanted to share a few words, but in your words, Sherry, I wanted to keep it simple for you. So in the past 2 years, since 2020, Growth Dimensions Economic Development has submitted for 65 projects. 55 are currently open, 6 are closed. 40 of those projects were industrial, 22 were commercial, and 3 were residential. And there's some that are unknown. We've also had 39 new businesses since 2020 in Boone County. So I kind of wanted to share some of those highlights and then also hand it over to our board chair and vice chair. I don't know, Bob Opperman, our vice chair, is going to go first.
Thanks, Pam.
Thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening. We appreciate your time. We appreciate you paying attention and listening to what we have to say for you this evening. I have 3 roles here. First of all, my role as vice chairman of Growth Dimensions. My day job, though, I'm market president for Midland States Bank for the Northern Region. And my most important role is I'm a resident, taxpayer, and voter here in Boone County. So I have a personal commitment to what's going on here in this county. I appreciate it very much. I want to address a couple things. Midland States Bank has made a substantial commitment to Growth Dimensions and to economic development over the last few years. We make a substantial commitment, not only in dollars, but in my time and the time of our staff to participate and support Growth Dimensions. And we do it because we see results. First of all, I think about the results of the companies that are relocating and growing here in Boone County. A good example of that is this Advanced Technology Center. Obviously, Growth Dimensions did not do that alone. It was a collaborative effort between the county, the city, the school board, and a variety of other individuals who may wrote letters, but it was coordinated by Growth Dimensions, and the message was consistently delivered and consistently coordinated by Growth Dimensions. If it hadn't been for the work of Growth Dimensions, I'm confident that Advanced Technology Center would be someplace else, and probably in Winnebago County. It's important because that technology center is soon going to have 200 students. They'll be graduating shortly thereafter. Those 200 students, some of them will locate in Boone County. They'll raise their families here. They'll spend their paychecks here. They'll make living wages here. They'll contribute to this county and this community. I can't tell you how much that's going to translate into tax dollars. That's going to be sales tax. They'll spend their spend their paychecks here. They'll buy homes. They'll pay real estate taxes. It's a substantial commitment and contribution to Boone County, and we're seeing the growth. The second thing we see is, as Pam mentions, all these contacts she's making with these people that are thinking, or companies who are thinking about locating in Boone County. They contact Growth Dimensions for information. If Growth Dimensions were not here to respond to those contacts, who would do it? The county doesn't have an economic development function. None of the cities in Boone County have an economic development function. If not Growth Dimensions, who? We just tell those folks, sorry, we're closed for business, go someplace else, talk to somebody else who has an economic development function. So we're seeing results. The last thing we think about is the enterprise zone. As we've had 41 applications funded through the enterprise zone, $4 million of investment in the community. That translates to jobs, stability, and consistency. So thank you for the commitment that you've had in the past to Growth Dimensions and to economic development in our community. It's making a difference. Please, as you consider your budget for next year, please consider an increase to the commitment to Growth Dimensions for next year. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
You bet. Any questions for Bob? Nope, I think you're home. John.
First of all, thank you for allowing me here tonight and to speak to all of you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm John Wolf, current board president. This is my 6th and final year of 2 terms with Growth Dimensions, but I've been affiliated with the group probably close to 40 years. History lesson for Belvedere. Growth Dimensions was established in 1979. 42 years of public and private partnership. It is so important, I think, for the board to remember that. Fostering economic development here. To quote our purpose statement, and this was done a long time ago, tweaked all the time, but it rings today as true as it ever has. Growth Dimensions provides a progressive and cooperative environment which improves the quality of life by fostering economic opportunity and personal growth. With economic development partners throughout Belvidere and Boone County, Growth Dimensions is advancing a coordinated economic development strategy to create jobs, promote community, doing that all the time, assets, and stimulate capital investment through business retention and attraction. I can't tell you why businesses leave here. I can tell you why one closed. General Motors decided they didn't need either an Oldsmobile, a Chevrolet dealer, very close to a Pontiac, Cadillac, GMC dealer closing, nor a Dodge dealer in Belvidere. All three of those dealerships got closed. Luckily for me, I had a year. Bob and Gary Dixon had 28 days to close. Why did Shopko leave? Their company went down. Growth Dimensions had a huge hand in bringing that investment back to Belvidere. Do I know, to Jeff's comment the other day, what the sales taxes will bring when those students come? I don't know. But I go by Springbrook Road and I see 300, 400 cars in that parking lot almost any time of the day that you go by. Are people going to come to Belvidere because that's here? Bet. And that means we're going to retain. They're going to come to the drugstore. They're going to come to the grocery stores. They're going to come and do business here. And I hope someday locate here. I think that's where our newest leaders are going to come from. I'm an old guy now. This stuff is going by me a heck of a hurry. But I'm still involved and I'm not going anywhere. This is our town and it's something that we've got to believe in. Over the past 2 years, specific to your board's information request, 40% of the funds, the operational funds that Growth Dimensions received were public funds. Over 60% are private funds. They invest in Growth Dimensions because they know we're going to bring jobs and keep jobs here. For comparison, right now, last year, Winnebago County provided $593,000 for regional planning and economic development. Growth Dimensions of Boone County is asking for $30,000. I think that's cheap and I think it should be raised, not lowered. But $30,000, your published calendar year 2021 budget is forecasted, I believe, at $17,925,000. The way I look at it is 0.168% of your budget a good investment for economic development in Boone County? The way I look at it, boy, you bet. And we better do it, and we better do it now. The counties around us are spending money. If you don't think they're poaching and taking what smaller Boone County is and will always be, we're naive. We need to do what we can to do that now. I know it's a good investment, and I'd ask you to make sure that you fund that and keep up that good work. Any questions for me?
Questions for John?
The whole group, maybe,
Pardon?
for the whole group.
Questions for all three Growth Dimensions folks? Go ahead.
I just have a comment is when you talk about the Rock Valley coming here, I will say this is I ran into that board president. I golf a lot, as we talked earlier, probably too much. And I golfed with him and he had told me one of the big reasons for them coming here was how enjoyable it was to talk with you guys directly. And they spoke to other counties, and I won't bring up names, that it was anger and hostility, and you guys were extremely welcoming, professional, and he thought the world of that. And for the board president to say that, probably says a lot.
Thank you.
It's a good thing, so we appreciate that.
One of the comments that Pat tells me all the time is professional, not political. It's never going to be that way, if I have anything to say about it.
Any other comments or questions? Jeff?
I just want to make sure that every biggest gripe that we have is measurements. It's 0 to look at. And we don't see the connections between the numbers that are put out to actually each project that was supposed to be developed or not developed. We don't see what happened. We don't know if we could help, could have helped, something that we know could have helped.
We don't have that information. Some of the links in the presentations that we got with the Excel spreadsheet, the links on those were not linked up to certain projects. I just want to make sure, yes, there's a need for economic development. I want to be notified of what's going on. I don't know. I don't know the numbers well enough. I don't see them. I don't get a picture of them. And I don't know why. So if the county is going to give up money, the county should have that information. Here's what we've done. Here's how we measure ourselves. Here's how we are performing. Simple stuff. We do it all the time in aviation. And we do it all the time in banks. You do it all the time in auto sales. You measure your performances. I haven't seen one.
You have awfully hard to measure the things that you can't measure. And specifically, if a company calls and says to Pam or staff, here's what we're interested in. Here's what we want you to do. We jump through hoops for a day, a week, a year. And they keep moving the goalposts or don't say that they're looking at other sites or different states or different anything. And they decide to make that decision that they don't come. There isn't a measurement. How do you measure that? In car sales, if I've got 50 Impalas on the ground and I've got to sell 20 of them to make money that month, okay, I measure whether I sell the 20 or not. Economic development doesn't work that way. It's very, very hard to measure the things. Physically shovel in the ground, yeah. Tell me why NDK left. They thought they could do better having the office in Schaumburg. I don't know whether they do or they don't. How do you measure that? And how do you measure the economic impact? The economic impact was when their converter blew up. That was the end of that, and we all know that. The car dealerships in Belvedere, at one time, there were 8 new car franchises in Belvedere. And yet look at the sales tax dollars generated last year by a new family coming to town. I'll almost guarantee you that one of your biggest sales tax increases was in auto sales in Boone County last year. And the Cunis family did that. No offense to Amy or my family, but they weren't doing the job that somebody else is doing. That you can physically measure. That's a tangible measurement. But most of the time, for us, we can tell you projects, but an awful lot of the time, the confidentiality is there where they aren't going to tell somebody else. They aren't going to publish what they're doing or why they're doing it. Right now, Boone County is in the fight, I don't know if their life, but of the expectancy with Stellantis. I'm going to tell you, sitting right there, the gal who took the bull by the horns, stirred up the politicians, and has people looking at Belvedere and Boone County, Illinois, because Stellantis is about that close to not being here. And if we don't get off our collective fannies and fight for it, they aren't going to have a reason to be here. We have to ask for it. And we have. And Growth Dimensions will continue to do that every day. You measure that and time that we've spent, we've got hours and hours with that. Is it going to produce anything for us? I don't know. I can't tell you that. And Ryan, to one other point that you made the other day, a little bit shame on us. The north part of Belvedere has a tremendous grocery store. I wonder what their gross sales were last year. I wonder what their sales tax contribution to the county is. We should count our blessings. The Woodmans and the Myers and the Schnucks are not going to come to Belvedere. They've got their places 6 miles away, and that part of the county is going there. We've got to rejoice at the people that have invested. It's a shame Aldi didn't need the Shopko property before they got bigger. There are Aldis that are bigger than the Aldi we have. But boy, you can go in there now and it's a regular grocery store. It wasn't for a long time. I wish it were a Trader Joe's. I wish it were a Whole Foods. I wish it were a Woodman's. It isn't. We've got Aldi's, and boy, that's a blessing for that side of town.
Kevin, and then you, Brian.
Yeah, so I guess what I'd like to communicate and see on the record, I think that what Board Member Carlisle was trying to explain is that I think that this board and the public want more user-friendly information. What I mean by that is that we are deliberate in how we communicate, key performance indicators and metrics to the public. So an example of that would be, and perhaps Growth Dimensions is not tasked with this, but okay, we look at how much available land we have in the county, which parcels are available. We want to see infill, but we also want to see new businesses and development happening on parcels that are available. That's an easy KPI that you can put together, basically illustrating and showing that Growth Dimensions tried to market these properties. We were unsuccessful in marketing, these 30 properties, or we were successful in marketing 5 of them. We bought 5 new businesses. We attracted or retained, or even moved businesses from different parts of the community into these areas to satisfy this strategy, so on and so forth. That's what I have a hard time understanding, is that we have multiple parcels available in this county that do not seem to have a lot of development happening on them, or things behind the scenes may be happening, but the board and the community don't understand it and can't visualize it and can't interpret that information because we're not deliberate on how we deliver that information to those that make decisions on the budget and those that want to realize what's happening in the community. So I think that's what we have to work on. And I think that's what Board Member Carlisle is trying to focus on, is how do we present that information in a more user-friendly way so that people can understand it.
We'll work on that.
Brian?
I have 2 things. My point wasn't even towards a grocery store, which everybody north of town has always asked for. I think that's no secret to anybody. It's retail in general. We have so much money north of town, and it seems that the growth is south of town. I know Walmart, that's a great Walmart we have out there. It's a clean Walmart, it's a beautiful Walmart. Nobody's gonna drive to that Walmart north of town. Or I should say, our subdivisions aren't south of town. Our growth in residential is north, whether we like to believe they're not, northwest. And that corridor that's gonna open up down there, we have such a great opportunity to develop north of town to keep these people from driving west. Give them just that little bite, just like Rock Valley's gonna do. You're gonna get new people that normally don't come to Belvedere to come in here, and they're gonna see, oh, there's a restaurant, maybe I'll eat there, I'll grab chow over here. We need something like that. We have to have some kind of retail north of town is the request. And I think that would generate so much and help just our county and city in general. Second, I've never had, since I've been on here, I think about 1.5 years, I've never been approached with a business coming in here asking for possible tax break to retain or to bring, like Stellantis, for an example. Is that anything that we can do as a county, because I believe that's within our power, to offer something for retainage, especially if something as big as that? Because whether we want to look at big corporations, and shame on us for giving them a break, the retainage from that, and if we don't keep them here, what are the results? So I'd like to be approached with stuff like that as well, so that we can work together on finding solutions. I know how hard you guys work, and I will praise you continuously. Just come to us. Maybe there's something that we can work together on, or something, and retain some of these harder, more difficult situations that we're placed on. So
I appreciate that very much. I mean, the work we've done with Stellantis, the kind of numbers they're talking about is $400 million. So a $17 million budget's not going to go very far.
Yeah.
Appreciate the support, but really that's got to come from the state. So what Pam has been doing, working with very closely, is putting pressure on state officials. We've had a letter writing campaign. We come to the point where the state official would call Pam and said, please, tell your people to stop writing us. We're working on it. So really, that's where we need your help, is to put pressure on those public officials. And I know some of you have done that, because that's caused those folks to really wake up and realize that they've got to do something. So that's the kind of help that we need.
Thank you.
Other? Sherry?
Hi. I have a few things to say. Number one, I'm retired from Chrysler. Number two, Chrysler has been here a number of years. And during that time, Chrysler has wanted to have some type of road either over or under Highway 20. So they didn't have to pay taxes for every damn car that goes across that road, going from our parking lot to the other parking lot. Please tell me where these supposedly, quote unquote, representatives and senators have been when Chrysler wanted this done years ago. Now, when Chrysler might be leaving, or you want to call it Stellantis, may be leaving, they can't leave till the end of the contract. But there's a lot of things this town has not done. There's a lot of things this county has not done to keep that there. And every time I turn around, I've only been in this county now 40-some years, okay? Every time I turn around, I hear, that damn Chrysler plant, it just ruined this county. You know what? That's bullshit. And you know what? It doesn't make Chrysler very welcomed here after all those years. Right now, we have a problem with the railroad tracks over here. Every time Chrysler people want to go to work or come home, we have a problem with the railroad tracks because they get caught there. Why wasn't this addressed years ago? Number 2 or 3. There's a lot of stuff going on out right there at that plant because I was just over there at the Union Hall Monday morning. And it is extremely shaky. They are now laid off till October 4th. And it could be extended because it's supposed to be 5 to 8 weeks. I have friends that work out there. I have relatives that work out there. Why is this town and why is this community waiting till now to start doing about something of keeping that plant here? Why is this state not working on something to keep that plant here? The other thing is, you said something about Myers is over there and, Schnucks is over there. Well, I have a friend who's in the marketing business. He wrote to 4 different companies about grocery stores. He explained about this town. And guess what? He got a reply from one of those grocery outfits. His reply, not Growth Dimensions, his reply. Why is not Growth Dimensions turning around and saying, hey, why don't you come to our community? Why are we waiting for them to call us? Why aren't we going to them? I think we need a better marketing strategy. Not waiting for them to call us, but why aren't we going to them? Why aren't we like Huntley? Huntley is just down the road from us. Look at the growth Huntley has. Look at the growth Belvedere has. We have the same opportunity. Why is everything going to Rockford, Loves Park, and McChesney Park, and Janesville, and Beloit? What happened to Belvedere? We're in between. What has happened? Are we not marketing ourselves correctly? That's the question. And as far as your $30,000 go, please prove to me what you've been doing and prove to the taxpayers of this county, what have you been doing? Show me. You put that stuff down on a piece of paper. Name how many people you have brought to this county, and they are now paychecks from the companies you have brought to this county in the past 2 years. And I'm not going to count Chrysler because they would have come anyway because the cars came. When you take those away, name them. I'm done.
Anyone else? Any other comments?
Thank you all.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Bob. All right, let's see. CASA. Who's up for CASA? Is that you, Ryan?
Yep. We had a car show on Sunday, September 12th that was absolutely amazing. Jeff, who is our new board president, and I presented the trophies who were created by a few, including our vice chairman, Derek Prado. And it was just a really good event. It brought a lot of recognition to CASA. I think Jeff had said we had 67 cars out there. It was hot, but it was fun. I think everybody had a good time. Again, we're always looking for advocates. The more the merrier. There's a lot of kiddos out there that could use our help. So I would always urge you to go to their website and get involved. But they've also have events page too when we do have events come up, and I will gladly make sure everybody knows about it prior. So but it was a great show, and
Thank you, Ryan. Any questions or comments for Ryan or Jeff?
One quick question, well, comment. One of our judges, who's actually a car show connoisseur, his group.
You made that up.
This gentleman.
Roger Schmaley.
Yeah.
Yep.
His group gave us $1,000 donation.
Nice.
So it was extremely helpful, and we're
Good.
extremely thankful for the donation, and it will go a long ways with cost.
Yes, I believe Chicagoland Mopar is who made that donation, and Roger has been a part of that for years. And all three judges, we had three judges, and the mayor was one of them as well. They all did a good job and worked together. So it's fun.
So should I bring my 1999 Ford Explorer with the dog in it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we
Next
take
year?
animals, yes.
Yeah.
Put a car club sticker in
She's
the back.
cute. We could put your puppy in there too, Tricia.
We don't urge dogs in cars when it's hot though, okay?
I never leave her in
Okay,
the
good.
hot unless we leave the air conditioning.
Okay, good.
But thank you.
Public service announcement, right?
Is Amanda, are you in line, or is Ryan going to take the Board of Health too? Amanda,
Hi, Sherry. Good evening. I'm here.
go ahead.
Hi. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Amanda Mail here with the Boone County Health Department. I'll just cover a couple of our 12 public health accreditation board domains that our report is divided up into. The Board of Health report from this previous meeting that we had should be uploaded and available for your viewing on Board Docs. So under domain 1, which is monitor health, we are very excited to be nearing the 50% mark of fully vaccinated individuals in Boone County. We're currently at 49.73%. So our department is considering 50% to be a pretty significant milestone as we look at the glass half full going forward with this very long and arduous COVID journey that we're all on. Wanted to touch on domain 3, which is educate and inform. I know we had a brief discussion at the last county board meeting regarding a little bit about the difference between the third dose that is designated for specific severely immunocompromised individuals who need a third dose in their Pfizer or Moderna series, and then the booster shot that is in the works to be made available to the general United States and world population. We are pushing out some education via the region, via the 9-county health department region, as well as conducting a forward forum on the 27th of September to clarify some of that. We're waiting to hear more from the FDA and the CDC as to the official determination as to when that booster dose will be indicated. Are we looking at 8 months after a second dose, or are we looking at a shorter or a longer time frame? So once we have that information, we will put in place the plans that we have been working on over the last couple of months as far as standing up mass vaccination clinics, once again for the purpose of allowing and making widely available booster doses for the general U.S. population, and specifically to our little community, to the 54,000 people here in Boone County who are fully vaccinated and would like a booster shot. On Thursdays, we're offering that third dose for our immunocompromised individuals, and they meet with a nurse and have a consultation to determine whether they are indicated to receive that. We've also been working pretty closely with the primary care providers in our community in the greater Rockford area. They often refer a patient to us who is indicated now to be receiving a third dose because of their immunocompromised status. Under domain 4, I'll just mention that our 2 Department of Justice grants, our core and our CERT grant, continue to grow and evolve very quickly in a very positive light. September 30th will mark the second full federal fiscal year that we have had our core grant, and it will mark the end of the first federal fiscal year of our CERT grant. So that's a pretty big milestone for us. The core grant has one more fiscal year ahead, and we have already begun discussions with the executive committee of the Behavioral Health Task Force as to what it will look like when we reapply for another 3 years of funding for the core program. Our family support group is a new initiative that we're working on through CORE. So my two staff members who participate in providing support to clients on our caseload have begun a family support group for family members of individuals that are struggling with opioid addiction. And that's actually going on as we speak, that it meets on Thursday nights. So that's a pretty exciting new initiative and provides more support than just the one-on-one individual support that the client gets, but provides additional support for family members who are looking for ways to be supportive of the recovery journey of their family member. So we're pretty excited about that. We're also working on a data collection and data sharing process with the data subcommittee of our task force, which would allow us to safely transfer de-identified data from hospital, clinical, or behavioral health inpatient facility settings through the health department in an encrypted format that would allow us to crunch numbers more locally and put out general information to the public so we can track our metrics more accurately here locally. So we're very excited about that initiative. I have a staff member in my office who does have a data analysis background, and she will be assisting with some of the coding that goes into the back end of developing the forward-facing dashboard, if you will. I know dashboard's a very a term that's thrown around lightly. This would be a dashboard that would allow us to put data in on the back end safely and encrypted, and then push out very clear tracking ways to get information to John Q. Public, to members of boards, to community partners, et cetera. It should also allow us to be more competitive going forward as we hope to continue to receive Department of Justice funding for the foreseeable future. Under domain 5, which is develop plans and policies, I am excited to say that we are almost completely finished with our accreditation team reviewing the 50 plus documents that are required for domain 2. So we have the 12 domains that we work slowly through to gather up the documentation that we'll need to submit for national accreditation. And after a long pause because of the arduous task related to COVID, over the last 6 weeks, the FAB steering committee has reconvened and pulled together the 50 documents to round out what we need for that domain. So we have 2 other domains in the work, and we are steadily, slowly but surely working back on our accreditation process, which is pretty exciting. And then the last thing that I will mention is under domain 7, which is linked to care. In addition to the COVID-19 first and second doses, the third doses, the upcoming booster shots, and then what we hope will be COVID vaccine approval under emergency use authorization for individuals under the age of 12. It's once again about to be seasonal flu season. So we will be standing up a mobile drive-through clinic using a tent that we have that will be erected on the side of our building. We did that very successfully last year, and it was a very COVID-safe way to vaccinate large numbers of people quickly. They can drive right up to the tent, and we partner with 2 of our regional nursing schools who come and volunteer their time and gain clinical experience helping us to run our seasonal flu clinics. So that will kick off here in the next couple of weeks, and there will be more information forthcoming about the dates and times and what requirements there are for receiving a seasonal flu vaccine. Sherry, I'm finished, and I'll turn it back to you if there are any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Amanda? Jonathan?
Amanda, Jonathan Benlar here. Do we know the number, the percentage of people contracting COVID? How many of them have had the shots, the COVID shots?
Do you, just so I make sure I'm clear, are you referring to a breakthrough case? So somebody who's been vaccinated that contracts COVID-19?
Yeah, do we have a percentage of the people?
For Boone County, or for what specifically?
Boone County, I guess, to start.
Okay. Last time I was on a state call related to the mass vaccination process, I know that there was some work being done coming from the CDC. That's being tracked, but the information is not being pushed out on a daily or a weekly basis like a lot of our other metrics. It's my understanding that that is in the works as far as pushing that information out. And I'm just going to make a note to bring that to your attention when that becomes available.
Yeah, thank you. I know four personally, who have had, both of the shots, right, who have COVID now. Yeah, were we expecting these shots to not be as effective? I mean, were we expecting to have this poor of a effect on COVID with these shots, or what's your take? Why are we seeing this?
Yeah. So the rate of infection amongst vaccinated individuals is significantly less. But it is still present. So I do want to clarify that. I'm really glad that you brought that up because that is one of the largest myths that we've been working hard to bust, if you will. But it unfortunately is confusing. So when someone is fully vaccinated against COVID-19, similar to when they're vaccinated against seasonal flu, that does not mean that they're not capable of contracting the virus. There's sort of a general attitude out there of once I'm fully vaccinated, I'll never come into contact with this virus. I'll never contract it. It'll never make me sick. I'll never come up positive. That's actually not exactly the way that virology works. So I am fully vaccinated. If I were to come in contact with COVID-19, it's very possible that I wouldn't actually contract the virus itself and have it show up in my system because I'm protected, but I still have the possibility of that occurring. What the vaccine allows us to do is it keeps people from having symptoms at all, makes their symptoms often more mild, keeps them from having serious illness that has them ending up in the hospital, and then prevents the majority of the deaths that we were seeing back when we did not have a vaccine. So it works the same as vaccines that protect against other viruses. So for example, I could be exposed to measles, but may not have symptoms, may not contract it in a way that I could spread it to others because I received that vaccine and my boosters as a child. So it works similarly for COVID. If you all have any suggestions on how to help get that message out there, this is like the number one myth that we are working really hard right now on trying to clarify for people, because there's a lot of information circulating that is confusing people into thinking that the vaccine is not effective, to your point. And in fact, it's quite the opposite. But the virus can still end up in somebody's body even when they're fully vaccinated, and that goes for all viruses.
Anything else for Amanda? Go ahead.
Yes,
Ray
Ray Larson here.
Hi, Ray.
Hey, so we get the COVID reports here, and I'm sure we've all seen the Boone County fully vaccinated rate has been going up very slowly recently, so. But I was curious, for the county fully vaccinated, does that include like children under 12 that can't get vaccinated? Is this like our whole population? Because if it's the entire population, if you remove those that can't get the vaccine, that it's not approved for them, this number should be higher.
Correct. That's correct. So it's based on the 53,000 and some change, almost 54,000 individuals. The reason that they base it on the full population is because they want to show the progress towards getting us to a point where there's a large enough segment of the population vaccinated that we get to the point where COVID is endemic, which means that COVID circulates in the community, people contract it, they pass it, but it's not running our lives, driving people to the hospital at rates that are alarming and that the medical system and hospital system can't keep up with, and causing shutdowns and mask mandates and kids to have to quarantine all the time and all of those challenging things that we're still finding ourselves faced with. In my perfect world, if I could wave a magic wand the way that the state dashboard is designed, I would like to see not only the number based on overall population, but I would also like to see the numbers side by side based on eligible population, because you're right, if you adjust for age, our rate actually in Boone County, our percentage is significantly higher based on who's actually eligible. But they don't always take my suggestions into complete consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Any
You're
other
welcome.
questions for Amanda? Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Let's see, general consent items, we don't have any, do we? Okay, let's move on to new business. You want to do region one? Oh, I'm sorry, region one.
Oh,
Carl isn't here.
I can,
You want to do?
yeah, I can give this a really brief update. Actually, yeah, I attend those meetings too. Carl and I attended the R1 governing board meeting yesterday in Rockford. And then also there's a new group called the North Council of Government, Northern Illinois Council of Government. So that's a subgroup of R1PC. Nonetheless, R1PC, they've been very, very busy on new initiatives. One, vehicle electrification. They actually held a vehicle electric week or some rendition of that. I believe that was last week for a whole week, and they kind of sort of a public campaign on vehicle electrification and trying to put some steam behind that. One of the things that they've been working with the county on is trying to integrate some vehicle electrification code amendments or additions in our zoning code or county code, so our zoning ordinance. And so that's one thing we've been working with them on, and also they're looking at trying to put more public charging stations out there in Winnebago, Stevenson, and Boone County. Our county. So that's one thing. They also talked about the land bank a lot. They've been really plugging away there. Sherry knows about that, and they've been doing an excellent job. And another thing that Eric does with the land bank is he oversees or coordinates their trustee program. And they ended up taking over Winnebago's trustee program, and it really does very, very well. They've turned a huge profit on that. So that's something that we could possibly look at talking with our county treasurer. They've just been doing a lot of work at R1. Michael Dunn said that I believe they have 24 staff now, and they have authorized an additional 7 staff beyond that based on the grants that they are receiving. So they continue to outperform themselves and just need more capacity, so they need to hire more people, which is a great thing. So wanted to share that. And then on the North Cog, that's a newly established group. And one of the things that they've taken up, actually we just heard it from tonight from the Growth Dimensions presentation. One thing they're focusing on is trying to retain Stellantis in Boone County, and North Cog is made up of many, many partners from Stevenson, Winnebago, and Boone County. So it was nice to have the collective group support that. And so a letter was drafted, which is actually attached in this packet under correspondence. So you may read that, and it was sent to all of the legislative leadership and the governor of the state, as well as our U.S. Representatives and senators too. And then also the second initiative, and then I'll close it out, is that they did enter into a management agreement with that Econergy group that actually presented to us, and really what they're looking to do is develop, I guess I'd call it less desirable land. So your brownfields, your like in our case, like the landfill, things like that. And trying to leverage those partnerships to bring solar, and that sort of sustainable energy to all of the counties that they serve. So I can entertain any questions, and that's all I have.
Any questions for Kevin? And the land bank gets some of the profit from that,
Yes.
The tax sale, the way they're doing it. So it's something we should probably really think about.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Tricia, for keeping me honest. Under other committees, let's see, Sherry, do you go to the the Regional Office of Education?
Heard anything from, not really.
For some reason, I saw your name on the list. Okay,
That was kind of a token thing, from Carl, because I did back him.
okay. General consent, we're going to skip over because there isn't anything. On to new business, which is not 9.1. I'm looking for someone to make a motion to approve resolution 21-23, sale of surplus property, 0803-100-009.
I'll make that motion.
Jeff Carlisle made the motion. Ryan Curry seconded it. Any discussion? This, of course, was presented by the treasurer at the finance committee last week. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Jeff Carlisle.
Yes.
Ryan Curry.
Yes.
Freddie De La Trinidad.
Yes.
Sharon Geske.
Yes.
Ray Larson.
Aye.
Ronnie Riley.
Yes.
Bill Robertson,
Yes.
Steve Shabaka.
Yes.
Jonathan Van Laar,
Yes.
Dave Wiltsey,
Aye.
Sherry Bartel.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 9.2 is the reapportionment maps. I think this is, you want to take it, or Tricia, or both?
Yeah, we can all talk about, yeah, I guess, so tonight what we present, our GIS specialist Tammy Cox drafted 3 maps. The first map shows the current boundaries with the new population. So I corrected that and added new population to that because it might have been a little confusing. And then she drafted 2 proposed versions of that map. Oh, I guess I should bring them up, sorry. But version 1 has the populations very, very close. We're pretty surprised they're that close. And then version 2 just shows it's just another version with the populations a little further off from that. So the plan is, and our goal is to eventually, obviously, adopt one of the maps. So the county board need to decide on that. And we hope to have that done at the next board meeting in October. County board members just review these and bring back suggestions. And we plan to have these on the next, committee meetings and the board meetings. So there's plenty of time for discussion. We can certainly discuss this tonight as well and offer more information. What we do also plan to do, Tammy will get even more detailed maps. So when you zoom in, you can see the actual streets and that we just wanted to at least rough these out. And so the county board could see what they look like. Sort of similar to the map that we currently have in place. And that's what we're presenting tonight. And I don't know if Tricia or Julie has anything additional.
I don't.
Okay.
On what you said.
Yep, that was good.
All right.
Any questions or comments from board members? This is work.
Yeah. Tammy, really, Tammy did a great job. She utilized, I guess I should mention, she did utilize the 2020 census data. No other data was used, but 2020 census data. I did want to clarify that. So all 3 are attached to board docs. I did send them out in email too, just for your convenience. And like I said, we can take a deeper dive next month in October 7th, Administration Committee.
So at the next meeting, will we have, it'd be easy for us to take a look and say, well, this one looks great because it's, like 8 people difference between the 3 of them. But there must be some other rules or guidelines or whatever that we have to follow, or am I wrong? And
It's
if
my
so-
understanding that the maps that are before you meet all the requirements.
Oh, good, okay.
Because they're not to divide legislative districts.
Right.
That type of thing,
Okay.
as well as be within a 10% population. But of course, the closer you get, the more likely you are to withstand challenge regarding the population.
Okay.
Good.
And is there anywhere we can, I'm curious what I guess I could look this up, population was in 2010.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
I'm just
suggestion. Yeah,
curious.
we can do that.
We could send out the maps that
Oh.
were considered last time we did the reapportionment. I know the 3 of us
That was
have.
10 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that. That's a good suggestion.
All right, anything else? Okay, let's move on to committee of the whole, admin, and I guess apologies to the Johnsons. Ryan, go ahead, please.
All right. Item 10.1, I make a motion to approve ordinance 21-15, SCP 21-2021 Johnson Special Use.
Motion made by Ryan Curry, seconded by Jonathan Van Laar. Any further discussion or comments or questions? Hey, roll call. Go ahead.
Do you want to?
Oh, do you want to go ahead?
If there's any questions, this was the special use that we discussed on the private winery with the gift baskets at 8428 Blaine Road. I did put in a cover page with the updated conditions, which included a new condition, which is number 3, as well as the amendment to condition number 4, which eliminated restrictions on sale of items.
Nice job. No other questions? Go ahead. Roll call, please.
Ryan Curry,
Yes.
Freddie De La Trinidad,
Yes.
Jerry Geesky,
Yes.
Ray Larson,
Aye.
Rodney Riley,
Yes.
Bill Robertson,
Yes.
Steve Schabacker.
Yes.
Jonathan Van Laar,
Yes.
Dave Wiltsey,
Aye.
Sherry Bartel,
Yes.
Jeff Carlisle.
Yes.
Motion carries. I'll be over to stop grapes. How's that?
Thank you for all your support.
You're entirely welcome. Thank you so much. Good luck.
Yes, thank you.
Let's see, item 11.1, I'm looking for a motion to approve claims with the understanding that Carl Johnson abstains from voting on all claims presented by William Charles. And Bill Robertson abstains from voting on all claims presented by B. Robertson Lock Service.
I'll second that motion.
No, I need somebody to do it.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Motion made by Jeff, seconded by Sherry Bartelt. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Freddie De La Trinidad,
Yes.
Sherry Geske,
Yes.
Ray Larson,
Aye.
Rodney Riley,
Yes.
Bill Robertson,
Yes.
Steve Schabacker.
Yes.
Jonathan Van Laar,
Yes.
David Wiltsey,
Aye.
Sherry Bartel,
Yes.
Jeff Carlisle,
Yes.
Ryan Curry.
Yes.
Motion carries. And item 11.2 is the Maple Crest Memorial Fund request. I'm looking for someone to make a motion to,
Moved.
made by Bill Robertson, seconded by Steve Schabacker, to approve a Maple Crest Memorial Fund not to exceed $50,000. Any questions or comments? Nothing? Roll call, please, Julie?
Sherry Geske,
Yes.
Ray Larson,
Aye.
Rodney Riley,
Yes.
Bill Robertson,
Yes.
Steve Schabacker, Jonathan Van Laar,
Yes.
David Wiltsey,
Aye.
Sherry Bartel,
Yes.
Jeff Carlisle,
Yes.
Ryan Curry,
Yes.
Freddie De La Trinidad.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Let's see, I guess we're on to special committee reports. Steve Schabacker, you got anything from the community building? Freddie?
That's Freddie.
You're close.
That's funny because I looked up the information we got at the beginning of this term and it said, but anyhow, we'll go ahead. Freddie, you go ahead. I apologize.
Well,
Guys look
anyway,
alike. I got, what can I say? Go ahead, Freddie.
It's all good. Treasurer's report was good. They mainly focused on their audit this past month. They were preparing for that and it came out good. They were pleased with the results. And they're very happy that there were no issues or any concerns. They are fixing some of the roofs for the roof at the community building on the north side of it. And some of the key system is already done in place, so, and that is it, really.
Any questions for Freddie? Thank you. UCCI? Anything on that?
Yeah, no real updates there. We did attach in correspondence, the fall conference will be here shortly. So just let us know if you'd like to attend and we can get you signed up, so.
That's good. Community Action Agency, Bill? Is that Bill Robertson that's assigned to that?
I know nothing.
Okay, it's not be you. Who is it?
Nobody's reported on that for quite some time.
Nobody has?
Oh, actually, I'm sorry, I do know who it is. It's actually Mike Chamberlain. Carl did appoint him to that. So, yeah, obviously he's not here tonight, but.
One of the things that's gonna be on my list about a topic with, right, Kevin?
I agree.
Okay, 911. This is Rodney, correct?
Yes. Thank you, Sherry. We had a meeting this morning at the Public Safety Building. Went over a couple of issues that are going on with some of the equipment and some of the updates and new equipment that they're looking to possibly move into purchasing in the near future. Budget looks good with everything and things are just moving forward. So hopefully with some of that new technology, if it goes into effect, when it goes into effect, will be something for board members to come up and take a look at. But it's a work in progress.
Terrific, Rodney. Thank you. Any questions for Rodney? The land bank, first of all, I owe Dave Wiltsey an answer from the last meeting. Dave, you asked about the realtor
Commission
commission
percentage, yes.
for those houses. they negotiate a flat fee of $3,000 because if you went with, like normally you pay, what, 6% real estate commission on those teeny tiny amounts, they couldn't get anybody to do the work. So they just negotiate that flat fee of $3,000. I think one of the houses sold for $7,000, so it makes sense to me. So I owed you that answer. Real quick, I have been going to the townships and giving them an update, so I thought I'd bore you all with it too. Anyhow, the number of properties that have been sold so far it's been 10. The total revenue generated from those 10 is $250,000. The total cost to dispose of them is about $40,000. Typically, the costs don't exceed any more than just the $50 for the recording fee and that kind of stuff. So that's a pretty good return on their investment. The sales, there were 3 of them in Belvedere and 3 in Freeport and 4 in Rockford. I think I've brought pictures of all of them, I hope. The total number of properties that are in the pipeline, it varies by week, but it's about 30 properties each week. And one of the things that I say to the townships, and I will say to all of you also, if you even remotely think there's a property that would, be eligible for either abandonment or acquire and sell, just let me know. Or if you'd rather let Eric Setter know, that's fine. You don't have to make the call on whether or not it's right or it's not. They will take care of looking into it. So don't hesitate. And I'm the representative for Boone County, but John Wolf is the representative for Belvedere. So anyhow, let's see. In October of 2020, the Rockford, I think I told you this, but just a quick update, the Rockford School District donated 3 vacant lots that had elementary schools on them to the land bank. And that's some of the property that Mike is working on getting solar or whatever, because it's not land that's probably going to be used for much else. In December of 2020, McHenry County joined our land bank. And I think I said to you before, we were all kind of, or not some of us, but because they're such a behemoth compared to it. But the land bank, every board member gets 1 vote. So it's fine. And there's a couple of conditions with them, but nothing of any sort necessary. Okay. And one of the things that the land banks are pushing for is to identify a consistent source of revenue, because right now the land bank is only, funded through grants. And we all know how grants are. Now, the only thing is the revenue that we make, of course, we turn around and now we can use it for lots of things. So that 250,000 that we've made does not have restrictions on it, but some of the grants do. In March of this year, we got a $175,000 grant to basically, we can purchase some property now, not to exceed a cost of $5,000. And then we can do some of the minor rehabbing and then turn around and sell it. The last grant we got in May is for abandoned property. Again, if you think there's anything that might be eligible for any of these, just let me know and we'll go from there. And something else that Kevin said, yes, they took over the sale of delinquent tax property. And I think in the first year, they made like $900,000 or something like that. I don't have the exact figure in front of me, but the land bank doesn't get a piece of that action too. Don't ask me how, I can't remember, but I do know we get a little piece of it. So it's really something to think about. Any questions on land bank? Oh, I forgot one big thing. Well, I'm pretty pumped by it. There are 9 land banks in the state of Illinois, and our land bank has been asked to take the lead in establishing an association of land banks. And here's the reason why. Because you've got each person from each land bank going to some senator or whatever the heck they're called, or legislator, to talk about things. And then you've got their attorney going. So you've got multiple people talking to multiple people. So anyhow, we've been asked to take the lead on setting up an association, which I think is a nice feather in our cap. But the attorney that we use is used by many of the other land banks. And that also includes the one from Cook County. So we even got picked over Cook County. Yes. Any questions? Thank you for indulging me. What have we got? Other committees? Any other committees I missed, Kev?
I don't think so.
All right, scheduled committee meetings. I'm going to be nice to you, Ryan. You go first.
Okay, our committee of the whole admin meeting will be October 7th, here at 6 p.m.
And our committee of the whole finance will be Thursday, October 14th at 6 p.m. Okay, let's see. Any other, no unfinished business, informational item.
Can I just?
Go ahead, Trish.
I
I'm
just
sorry.
want to ask Kevin, would that be a place to talk about the ad hoc committee for lot of record?
Oh, we could put it there. I think we also had it under, we could, Izzy could talk about it
As
now.
long as it's
Oh, that's fine.
somewhere.
No, yeah, it
Okay,
is.
I just want to make sure it wasn't forgotten. That's
No,
it.
we wanted them to have it. Come on, Iz.
Yeah, we.
Izzy was going to give
That's fine, yeah.
Oh, thank you for,
It's
what I do
totally
without
fine, yeah.
I was ready.
I don't,
Yep,
Yeah.
it's okay.
I don't, we're going to do it somewhere else.
I mind it.
let's get it here.
Okay, Kevin, if you could pull up, it's,
Yes.
good evening, board. I have a quick recap here. Bear with me. I know it's almost at the end of the meeting, but I just wanted to give you an overview of what we have been doing at the Lot of Record Ad Hoc Committee meeting. If you remember, February 2021, which was earlier this year, the county board did decide to create this ad hoc committee meeting, and the chairman put together the committee. March 2nd, we had our first Lot of Record committee meeting, ad hoc committee meeting. And from then until August, we've been having ongoing discussions at our meetings. They are open to the public as well as other agencies that have attended. And we've had discussions about this concept. September 14th, which was just recently, we discussed a phased approach to addressing Lot of Record. And we did finalize some recommendations for what we have done. And so today I'm here to update the board on our recommendations, as well as request that the ad hoc committee meeting be continued to discuss those phase 2 issues. So the phase 2, if it is continued, would start in October. So one of the first things that I just wanted to highlight was that there is something that the ad hoc committee meeting did decide, and that was that Lot of Record name had to change. So the term Lot of Record has been historically used to define this entire concept and conditions for building a single family in A1 that are not in the ordinance. So the term Lot of Record is actually defined in our code, therefore it cannot be used alone, right, to define this entire concept or idea. So now it'll just be as simple as new residences in A1, building a single family home in A1, which essentially means a buildable lot of record, which is a parcel that is recorded at the clerk's office. So simple as that. These are phase 1 recommendations, which will be under section that is existing in the code, 3.2.3, non-farm residential uses, which does apply to any sort of residence that is going to be built in A1, which is our agricultural preservation district. So under 1, you have the 3 conditions, A, B, and C, which will be added. C, I would ask the state's attorney and staff to kind of review that condition again. I know it was a little tricky, but we will be doing that. Essentially, the concept of building a single family home in A1 will now be in the code and will be applied to everyone. And it will be essentially how we have been applying it for the past years. So that's for you to kind of check out. So the next step for phase 1 would be to apply for a text amendment so that the code is updated. But during all those conversations that we've had during those months, other issues have come up, including how then can somebody build a single family home in A1 or in an agricultural district when they can no longer build in A1 based on the conditions that we will be adding? And that is where the A2 rezoning conditions came up, and we had some discussions on that, on how they were too restrictive, outdated perhaps, and might need some updating. So we want to continue that discussion to hopefully bring some of those amendments. Also, we noticed during our conversations that there was problems with the conservation easement special use language, which we have been working on, and we have some of those updates. So we want to continue that discussion, as well as other special use possibilities. So that would be in phase 2. That is my summary.
Questions? Sherry.
I would just like to thank Izzy and Tricia for all the work that they've done to get it this far. And I hope it doesn't take us as long to get the rest of it done because we have people that are waiting that would like to buy or sell property. And it's a lot different from a $440 taxes to $4,000. So I think we need to get this done. We've messed around with it long enough. And I want to thank you, both of you ladies, again, for the work that you've done.
Any other comments or questions?
Just heads up is phase one is obviously will go in front of, if approved, will go in front of a hearing, and then phase two will be discussed much the same and take the same route once that's completed. So that's the steps that be taken, and it is a very enlightening committee, and it's taught, I think, all of us a lot. And again, just to echo what Sherry said, is the hard work done by these two ladies has been great or appreciated. It's a fun committee to be a part of.
Now, we had a little chat about, do we have to be sanctioned to continue on, or is that something we do at a later time, or did you already resolve that, Ryan?
I did talk to the chairman of this board, and he and I expressed our plans and hopes, and he didn't seem to be against that. So I feel like I feel pretty positive that obviously we formally bring it in front of him, but I feel positive that we'll continue on and hopefully, like Sherry said, second phase would be a lot quicker now that we got the hard part out of the way here and close it up. So.
Anything else? Thank you, Izzy.
Do we need a motion to that effect?
It wasn't published. It wasn't on the.
Yeah, we'll just have it on an October agenda.
All right.
We'll make sure it's on there. Yep.
It's just an informational thing, kind of a heads up, so we can keep that ball rolling, I think. Let's see, I think we're up to board member comments. Any comments from the board members?
I have one, Sherry.
Yes, go ahead, Rodney.
Okay, unfortunately, I had to leave the meeting earlier. The meeting, the administration meeting we had when you guys talked about the reapportionment and talked about the chairman's position. I did have a chance to go back and look at it on YouTube, so I did listen to all the comments that everybody made. The only thing I can think of that I'd like to bring up in this issue, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I was wondering if anybody would seriously consider an idea of possibly, because I did get a lot of people ask me about this position and how we came about to elect that position. It was something that a lot of voters asked about when I was campaigning last fall. I was wondering if anybody would be interested in entertaining the idea of possibly putting this type of question out on next spring's ballot. Just informational, just something to throw out there, kind of like the idea of the sale of the nursing home last year. Just see what the people have to say. And if the people say that they're very comfortable with the fact that the 12 of us elect a chairman, then that would be the will of the people. But it just been weighing on my mind. And I again apologize for not being there earlier this month when that meeting was going on. I would love to have brought this up then, but I just thought I'd throw it out there and just kind of see what anybody else thought. That's all I got, Sherry. Thank you.
Thank you, Rodney. If memory serves me correctly, and then I'm going to turn it over to Tricia or goodness, right here, Julie. I think we voted on that last time. And I think we voted that we would continue to elect the chairman by the board members.
Well, that was a committee.
Right.
And so it still needs to be voted on in the resolution, which will be part of, if you remember, we kind of did it piecemeal. There are several different issues such as your pay, where we're going to remain 3 districts, the maps. They're all part of the same resolution that should be, hopefully, our goal is to have it in October for you to vote on. As for, I believe that you can do an advisory, and actually, I think you can actually maybe do, I don't have the code right in front of me, to ask the voters about the chairman being elected, but I also believe that it's done only at the time of the decennial census. So it can't be, if we put it on the next ballot, it's going to be past the time for when it has to be done based on the statute because the census was just done. So if you want to do that, the board can't do it again for another 9-10 years. So it might be something to, I don't know who's going to be around another 10 years. Keep in your mind of maybe trying to do a couple of years before the census. to get that public in that way. I mean, obviously, there's other ways to get the public input on an issue without going to ballot, but if you wanted to go to the ballot, that would be your options. And I can give you more information on that on the 7th if you'd like.
Tricia, thanks for bringing that up because that is something, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt anybody.
No, go ahead, Rodney.
I'm glad you brought that up like that, Tricia, because I think that's important because what we're looking at the potential this next fall, the 2022 election, we're all up. We could have 12 new people sitting on this board, and how would we have any idea who would be a good leader for the board? So just something I again apologize. I had to leave that meeting that I wasn't able to discuss it when it was going on, but I really just something that I wanted to bring up and make sure everybody knew how I felt about it. So thank you.
Thank you, Rodney. Any other board member comments? Nope. County administrator goals. You want to take this, Kevin?
Yes, I'll just be very brief. So on board docs, I worked with the vice chair to develop a list of preliminary goals and objectives. And so on board docs, I attach those. And what we'd like to do, first of all, is have, since the county board serves as my supervisor, is that I'd love for the county board members to take a look at these, take a look at the goals and the objectives, add to or think of even additions, subtractions, so have you. Please let me know about those. What I plan to do is hopefully have this finalized at the October board meeting to present those. What I also will do is share these with the department heads to see if they have any feedback, because some of these goals, I need to leverage some of their expertise to actually complete them as a team and collaborate. So we have 5 overarching goals with some preliminary objectives tied to those. And I'd love to include your input in that before I finalize them. And then we can move on from there. So, and I can entertain any questions.
Any questions for Kevin? Is there any certain way you want them to deliver to you?
Email, phone call, yeah, whatever's easiest for you. So text message, carrier pigeons.
I want to see that.
I prefer the pigeon. I do too, actually.
You threw it out there. You cannot submit anything unless it's by carrier pigeon. Did you get mine, Kevin, the rough ones I gave you?
Oh, yeah. They are on there, yes.
Okay, any other questions on that? All right, let's see, correspondence, you already talked about UCCI. Anything else?
There's just a biosolids application on there from Belvedere, and then that Stellantis letter that was drafted by region or R1PC. So it's a very good letter. Take a look at it, and like I said, they're sending that all to the legislators. So
okay, we have no need for an executive session.
Not this evening.
All right, and I need one more motion.
Adjourn.
Dave Wiltsey.
Motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Second.
Jeff, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you all.
Stands adjourned at 7:56.
Thank you very much.